Hello, sweet friends. This is Gina, and welcome to Stellar J Studios. In this video, I'm going to share with you a collection of journals that I'm going to put in my shop on Etsy, the Rebookery, on Saturday, June 7th at 8 a.m. Central Time. And the inspiration for these journals comes from some of my artwork that I have been creating over the last couple of years. And I set out to just make a series of collages. So this one has some fabric and some wallpaper and some cut up painted paper. Just anything that pretty much I had laying on my desk. There were some photocopies in this one, and some map paper. And I held on to these for quite a while. I believe I did this 3 years ago. And they just kind of sat and kind of just stewed. Which is how I like to do a lot of my artwork, is once I create a collection of something, I like to just let it sit around and simmer and stew and kind of get better. And I go back and I'll look at it, or sometimes I'll hang it up on my wall so that I can see it and kind of study it and decide, do I like this? What do I really love about this? Like, for example, this one, first of all, I love the greens. I love this blue and red right here. And then I love that I have these stripes. I love these unexpected little circles here and the different collection of materials. So this is wrapping paper. This is a book page. This is some painted pages that I had, probably some underpapers. And then this is a piece of ribbon that I got at an estate sale. So these have been sitting around, simmering, getting good and juicy, and I decided that it was time that I turned them into something that I could share with others and possibly get them inspired to do something similar. So I made a collection of these collage paper journals. So these are my papers that I collaged. I just cut them down and I made 6 of them. And I do believe I have the fronts and backs. I just got to figure out, I had them stored upside down a little bit, so I have to figure out where the fronts are. But basically what I did, and I didn't stitch them together yet because I wanted to show you what I did with these and how I put them together. But basically I took the 9 by 12 page that I had collaged on, and I split it in 2. I put in a spine, and I put wallpaper on the inside of this one with some little tucks or pocket spots. And then I filled it with a good assortment of journaling, junk journaling pages. So calendar pages. If you've gotten a journal from me before, my usual favorites. I always throw in my ledger paper, some paper from some discarded like journals or diaries where it's like halfway filled, and so I'll find them at estate sales or thrift stores, and I will take the pages out and repurpose them. This is some cool little, it's like a typing paper, but it's kind of like an onion skin sort of texture. Some pages from some children's workbooks. Oops, there we go. Some map paper. Again, more children's workbooks. Boy, I think a lot of teachers are retiring because every time I go to the thrift store, I just see oodles and oodles of old children's workbooks or school workbooks. This is an envelope, and like this. This is a teacher's cover to a teacher's book on creating bulletin boards. I will tell you, as a former teacher, I hated bulletin boards. And the reason why it was because of this book. I could never make a perfect bulletin board like they wanted. Like, I just could not. In the book, they show you what it's supposed to look like, and they have everything nice and neatly lined up, and I just, yeah, I couldn't do it. First of all, they only probably had like 20 pieces of students' work up there. Well, sorry, I never had just 20 kids in my class. I always had 27, 30, 32. So, first of all, it wouldn't fit on the bulletin board. And second of all, I cannot line things up, and I don't want to measure. So, I hated bulletin boards. And I will tell you, though, in elementary school, oh, this is the back of that one. In elementary school, when I taught, we had to, it was mandatory that you like took the bulletin board out in the hall. I don't know, at least once a quarter. So I would have to, you know, do my duty and put a bulletin board together. But let me tell you something, people. I made my own bulletin board designs, and I did not stay within that little rectangular box that they have for you to staple your little things up there. I went off of that box. I went out of the frame. I went up the wall. I even glued, fabric. Oh, yeah. Ribbons. Yeah. And all 30,000 of my kids, their work went up there. And it was amazing. And so when I would do a bulletin board, it was pretty awesome. But I just was not one of those line them up straight and narrow type of teachers, which if you have been with me a while, you know that that's pretty much the way my art is. I'm not a line them up straight and narrow. This is going to be neat and perfect. Yeah, that's not me. So flipping through these, you can kind of see they're all basically the same inside. It's just going to have different designs from whatever resource I got the pages from. And this is going to be a cool journal to do several things in. First of all, of course, you could do I love this one, by the way, or just, I don't know, the green. First of all, the collage work that I did, that hopefully is inspiring to you. And there are lots of pages in here that are going to be thick enough to handle some paper and glue and maybe even some lightweight fabric collages. But I also was thinking, and this one does not have wallpaper on the inside. I just left it blank. So that's just the back side of the artwork. But I also was thinking, why not put in papers that lend themselves to writing or scrapbooking? I've been doing a lot of writing lately in my journals, and I've been getting up every morning and doing it, and it has made a huge difference in my health and well-being. I pretty much, even on the weekends, I pretty much cannot wait to wake up in the morning so that I can creep into my room, because I creep into my room because I don't want to wake up my husband who's sleeping in, and I definitely don't want to wake up my puppy, Wendell, or the pussycat, because I'm not ready for them yet. I want some time in my room so that I can really connect with myself and think about what's going on, think about things that are stressing me out and try to work through those and figure out why they're stressing me, and then finding solutions and ways that I can deal with that stress. I like to also do a lot of doodling and just regular old coloring with crayons during that time. So I do it every morning, like clockwork, literally. And I skipped one day because I think my daughter was in town and we were going to go out to breakfast or something, but we had to get up early. And I will tell you, it made a huge difference, because when I didn't do my morning journaling, I felt out of sorts. I felt off. And even my husband could tell. He was like, "Did you do your art this morning?" And I was like, "No." I was real grouchy. I was like, "No, I didn't." So I put some papers in here that could be for that type of journaling, whenever it is that you do your journaling. In addition to the new journals I have in my shop, I wanted to also show you guys that I have these journals that I made for a craft fair last November. So it was November 2024. And they are 25% off in my shop. So it's a really good deal if you are looking for something small. So if you are interested, these are still in my shop. I have one sketchbook left. I don't know why, but the sketchbooks were flying off the shelves this week. I think I sold 2 or 3 of them. So I have one sketchbook left. The scribble journal. So this is that journal that when I did my Dear Diary back in, oh my gosh, when was that? Was that February or March? The Dear Diary collection. This was a smaller version of a journal that I made for myself, where I just put in a collection of different papers. So some stationery papers, some grid paper, ledger paper. Gosh, this is cardstock type of paper. This was shelf liner. And yeah, oh yeah, and then I had stamped, and gosh, I forgot what all was in here. But anyway, this is also in my shop. And then there was an envelope here with all kinds of goodies. And this journal reminds me of the journal that I've been using, which I'm almost full. Reminds me of my strawberry shortcake journal that I've been using for my daily writing and journaling and stuff like that, which I will do a flip through at some point. I'm getting very close to the end. So I had a friend reach out after last week's sticker drop and ask if I would re-release the cut-apart sheet that had the phases of the moon and then the little text that went with it. And I said, absolutely. Now, I got a much better printer than I did back in 2021 when I first released these, and I printed them out and compared them to my ones in 2021, and I was like, oh my goodness. Like these, the quality is amazing. And if you recall, these were my cut aparts where I give you the whole sheet, but then you cut apart the parts that you want and use however you want. So it's like all of these things can be stickers. Well, if I was going to do that cut apart sheet, I might as well do this cut apart sheet. And I cannot find, well, before I did this video, I couldn't find the actual sticker sheet, but this was the original. And then I scanned it and I shrunk it down. But this, I loved this cut apart sheet because you could use everything. Like I know whenever I used it, I used every single piece of this because it had that grid and that blue, and then you know, you could cut this out and cut this out and cut this out and yeah, cut the flowers out. So this is also back in my shop, and they are, let's see, I think they're about a 5 by 7, a little bit more than 5 by 7. Here's my next inspiration. So if you remember on Instagram, I think I did a YouTube short on it, but last Friday I went to a thrift store and I found this box for $3. First of all, the box itself. This is fabric and yeah, it is so sturdy. But then to open it up and find all that stationery, oh my gosh. And then to open this little secret, and there were all of these papers, and it's, oh my gosh, it's called Eaton's, which is the brand, Crystal Sheer. And so these are like tissue paper. And oh my gosh, like I can't even. There's just, I can't even. And then look at the paper that came with it. Oh, Eaton's Love Letters. And they're little flowers. Look at that. Oh, and the paper is like super sheer. Oh, I'm over the moon. Trust me when I say that I will be sharing some of this goodness with you. In those journals, I'll be tucking in a little bit of this yummy, yummy goodness. I found a little address book for $1.50. And I was like, okay, this is intriguing me. I like the size. Let's see what I can do with it. Okay, so I went home and I just went to town. I changed nothing about this. The pages are still the same pages. It's the little address papers with the little dividers. And for the entire weekend, I mean, I'm talking from the time I got up in the morning until the evening, I sat outside with my puppy dog and my kitty cat, a bowl of crayons, some markers, a little bit of glue, and I just had the best time ever. And this has brought me so much joy and satisfaction. Like, I am so satisfied when I look at this because it's just, who would have thought? Like, I love that I kept this the same and I kept the $1.50 on it, because somebody would probably just think, oh, that's an old address book. Nobody wants that. And then you open it up and I've just got all kinds of goodness in here where none of these are masterpieces. They're just playing around. So this was my next inspiration. I created one similar. Actually, I created two similar. So this one is a little bit bigger. This was actually a guest book that I got at the same thrift store. Now, this right here, the cover, that's one of my collage papers. So I cut it apart like I did on these journals right here. One is on the front. The other half of it is on the back. And there's a little serendipitous moment here I'm going to share with you. But this was a guest book. And when I got inside of it, it was just like this. The pages are perfect. They're perfect. They're actually a little bit thicker than the pages I had in my address book. And so these are all the original pages. I even put the page in here that was the opening page. I have some really thick, it's like a file folder divider thing. And I put 3 of those in just to kind of add a little bit of, I don't know, just a little bit of fun and put some different weight of paper in here. So on the inside, this is some wallpaper, old wallpaper that I put on here and sealed. And so then I did it over on this side too. Check it. This collage that I picked, and I just randomly picked whatever collage, it actually has guest book pages that were a page that I had, I think I did some echo dyeing on this. So it was probably dandelions and maybe some leaves. Probably did this, I don't know, during COVID, because I did a lot of the eco dyeing or echo dyeing during that time. But isn't that cool that this paper just happened to be on the cover of this journal, which is an old guest book. Look at this. So this is a ledger book that I have had a long time, and I just kept holding on to it for that right moment. And then I was like, okay, the right moment, the right time has come. So it's just gorgeous. It's old. It's got some marks on it. And just, I didn't want to do anything to the cover other than just maybe brighten it up a bit on the inside, and then this black on the inside. I didn't put any end papers on this. If you wanted to, by all means you could, but I'm not going to mess with it. Why mess with perfection? Okay, so this one, same thing. It's rings, and they work because I actually did put papers in this. So this was the actual first piece. You know how binders will always have that first piece of cardboard to kind of keep the papers from getting caught underneath here. So I just took both of them and I sewed them to a little file folder. So this flips down, but you could journal on this. You could do artwork on this. And then I just put a wide range of fun papers. And I will tell you, let me zoom out a little bit so I can show you everything. This was just so much fun finding things to put in here. So this is an envelope, and I stuffed some old flashcards in there. Just random papers that I had, file folders. This was some paper that I actually bought at that thrift store last week. More flashcards, the scraps of fabric and the scraps of paper that I used. It all just kind of came together. I didn't set out thinking that I was going to do these darker colors, because that's usually not my jam. I'm more, bright and pinks and purples and stuff. But oh my gosh, these, I tell you, I'm in love with the box that those index files came in, that Smeed box. Oh my gosh, I love it. This is so I clipped on some papers and stuff, but this is a flashcard that actually folds out. And I know it looks like it's upside down. It is, because one side is upside down and the other side is not. And then I just put this little sticker here, and then put a little, see, this side is not upside down. And I put some papers in here, just some little off-cut sewed on, just random bits. And there are, I believe there were 32 pages, but right before I went to bed last night, I reminded myself that I have the pages to this ledger. I went digging around and I actually found them, some of them. So I will put those in. What I am still contemplating is I have these two little, they're photo albums, but I could easily do the same thing I did with these binders and put in some pages. So I'm thinking about working on these, and if I get them done, they will go in my shop. My friends, thank you for hanging out with me today. Don't forget, the shop will have new journals on Saturday, June 7th at 8 a.m. Central Time. Please be sure to check out my latest video where I went through how I made my doggie's day by taking him down to daycare, and it was just the best day ever. And yes, I hope you are healthy. I hope you are happy. I hope you do something creative today. And until next time, goodbye.